This is going to blow you away.
How would you like to make your iPhone or camera videos go from sounding like this
to sounding like this, all without using an external microphone? It's really easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
As I've often said, video is easy, audio is hard, but that could be changing sooner than you imagine as artificial intelligence for audio has arrived. And while it's not perfect and has lots of room for improvement, it could be the game-changing technology that makes your videos sound like they were produced in a professional sound studio. Here's an example. I'm standing 5 feet away from an iPhone mini. This is what it sounds like coming out of the phone.
And this is what it sounds like after being processed in the Adobe Podcast program.
I'm now standing 10 feet away, and this is what it sounds like before.
And this is what it sounds like after.
As stated, it's not perfect, but it is a step in the right direction. Stay tuned, as today I'll show you how AI technology repaired that audio file in just seconds. And best of all, at least for now, it's free. And that starts right now on the Gadget Guru. Like you, I've been seeing the media flooded with stories about chat AI and how it can create anything from Instagram posts to term papers by simply typing in a bit of text. There's also AI programs to create artwork that appear to be custom. And we're seeing the first glimpse of how AI is changing internet search, with Microsoft and Google unveiling powerful AI engines that provide amazing results. But how about audio? Can artificial intelligence one day replace expensive microphones? Can AI technology take poor-sounding audio files and make them sound like they came from a sound studio? Well, the short answer is yes, but in my opinion, currently, it's a work in progress. However, just this past week, a couple of AI programs rescued some segments that I had produced and took unusable audio and converted it into files that, to most ears, sounded pretty good. At the recent Prevo Expo, instead of using expensive and bulky DSLR cameras and microphone setups, I wanted to put some tiny 360-degree cameras to the test to see if I could effectively cover a trade show using a single camera and a relatively inexpensive Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone. Well, I've used this microphone successfully many times. For some reason, the microphone transmitter I was using was misbehaving. Now, in this example, my voice was being picked up by my guest microphone, and that resulted in echoes and very poor sound quality. While some would simply post it to YouTube and move on to the next project, to me, well, that was unacceptable. Check this out. I'm at the Prevo Expo, and with me is Robert Hitt of Prevo. Now, Prevo just introduced a brand new H345 chassis. There's a lot of innovations, but the one that has blown me away is that they're getting rid of the exterior mirrors and replacing them with these. Can you tell us about them?
We can. So we removed the exterior mirrors.
So how did I repair these files? Well, I used two programs, and both provided different results. Because the levels were so bad, my guest mic was overmodulating and distorted, and my levels, well, they were pretty much non-existent. I first ran the audio portion of this video through Audo Studio, an AI program that has settings for automatic volume and background noise reduction. That helped. Then I ran that result through Adobe's free Adobe Podcast program, and here's the final result.
I'm at the Prevo Expo, and with me is Robert Hitt of Prevo. Now, Prevo just introduced a brand new H345 chassis. There's a lot of innovations, but the one that has blown me away is that they're getting rid of the exterior mirrors and replacing them with these. Can you tell us about it?
We can. So we removed the exterior mirrors, and with that we get...
I'm at the Prevo Expo, and with me is Robert Hitt of Prevo.
I'm at the Prevo Expo, and with me is Robert Hitt of Prevo.
So, is this perfect? Well, not really. As to my ear, it appeared to have an issue with S's, and it seemed that at times the pitch would change just a bit. However, for my situation, both of these programs used individually or separately were a lifesaver. As any content provider will tell you, sometimes problems are noticed after a shoot when it's too late to go back and redo an interview. That's where I see a great usage for AI audio technology. Now, let's go back to that iPhone example where I used Adobe's Podcast program, and I'll show you how it works. It's basically 2 steps. Since the Adobe program only works on audio files, I needed to first separate the sound from the video, and then I simply uploaded that audio file to the Adobe Podcast program. Since the content I was creating was less than 60 seconds in length, it only took a few seconds to process. I then downloaded the completed file and added it to my timeline. So what happens if you start with a good signal and then input it into the Adobe Podcast app? At this moment, I'm using a Sony professional UHF microphone, and I'm going to take the last 20 seconds of what I just said and play it back after it's processed by the app. So what happens if you start with a good signal and then input it into the Adobe Podcast app? At this moment, I'm using a Sony professional UHF microphone, and I'm going to take the last 20 seconds of what I just said and play it back after it's processed by the app. As you can hear, it makes the sound somewhat similar to using an expensive podcast-style microphone such as this Shure model, and it took the tonal range of the audio and enhanced it to a big-bottomed, deep bass sound. So, where is this going? There's already programs such as Crisp that are designed to work in the background of conferencing platforms such as Zoom, Skype, and Slack to remove background noise during online meetings. So I can only predict that companies such as Adobe, Audo, and others could soon be licensing their technologies to camera companies and make it to where that in many settings, an auxiliary microphone may no longer be needed. I'll add that I can only predict that in the very near future, companies such as Apple and Google could be incorporating AI options into their phones. I guess we'll have to see about that. If your company is developing an AI audio app and would like me to try it out, just go to gadgetguru.com and send me a note through the contact form. Please note, I do not charge for reviews. And while I've often said that video is easy and audio is hard, well, I'm hoping that you can prove me wrong. As a side note, after I realized that the Rode Wireless Go microphones were not performing properly, I switched to the DJI mic for the rest of my segments, and I'm happy to report that they performed well with the Insta360 cameras and no AI enhancements were needed. Links to the companies mentioned in this report are in the comment section below. As stated in the opening graphic, this video is not sponsored, and the opinions expressed herein are my own. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, as I'll be doing more on this topic in the future. That's it for now. I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr.